All right, and I'm going to call the Finance and Audit Committee meeting to order for Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Ms. Cindy, can we get a roll call, please?
And just to let the public know, we have 2 committee meetings that we're going to handle before the regular board meeting. So we want your participation. Glad you're here. Just didn't want to confuse you and wondering why we're doing 3 meetings back to back.
All right, you should be able to join the meeting now as well. Okay.
That's a mic.
Yeah.
Your turn. Come on in. Your turn.
Mr. Anthony,
Present.
Mr. Piazza, Mr. Westmoreland,
Present.
Mr. Toler.
Here.
All right, with 3 members present, we do have a quorum, so we'll start with item A. Consider approval of the 2024-2025 revised budget. Mr. McNeely.
We presented these at the last meeting for your review. I've not received any questions, so we would ask for your motion for approving the revised budget.
Motion to adopt. Second.
It's a motion by Mr. Westmoreland, second by Mr. Toler. And you can call for a vote, Ms. Cindy, please.
Voting is open. Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Board.
All right. Item B is to consider approval of the 2025-2026 salary schedule. Mr. McNeely.
We're excited about this year's salary schedule. We have changed the structure some to try to put the more important items in at the beginning of the salary schedule. And if you would like, I can go through some of the highlights of the salary schedule changes. First, this salary schedule emphasizes effectiveness and performance. So there are many more opportunities for our employees to earn additional money based on effectiveness and their performance, such as page 2 now has a list of our effectiveness stipends kind of summarized in one place. Our principals, if approved, will be able to receive a performance stipend based upon their school's SPS score increase year over year. So if a principal grows their school 5 points, they would be eligible for a one-time 5% stipend once those scores come in. Teachers' annual effectiveness stipend, we've now quadrupled over the last 2 years, the effectiveness stipend. For instance, the highly effective core was 500. We doubled it to 1,000 last year, and we've now doubled it to 2,000 this year. We've also added 2 additional categories. Last year it was core and non-core. We now have a highly effective if you have industry-based credentials, if you teach those. And we've also added if you have non-core, but you have an SLT that is related to a core area, you're eligible for a little additional stipend if you're highly effective. Another thing that we're doing is focusing on effectiveness for our non-certified practitioner's license, our out-of-state licensed teachers, which is the next section. First off, our certified teachers, if you're highly effective, not only will you get the stipend, but instead of 1 step, we're proposing that they would get an additional step. So they would get a 2-step raise based on being highly effective. If we have a highly effective non-certified practitioner's license, out-of-state license, or expired license teachers, they will be placed on the certified teacher pay scale as a highly effective non-certified or partially certified or expired certification and stay on that. They'll be frozen at that level, but every time they are highly effective, they will get another step. And if they either get their certification or restore their certification, they will move to the appropriate step for their years of service. The coaches playoff compensation is in there again. A new stipend for our transportation team. We have a safety stipend. So if a bus driver is not in an at-fault accident and have no safety violations, It's $500 per semester that they are able to do that.
Advisory committee meeting where the bus drivers, the board approved a couple years ago, I think last year, maybe 2 years, the perfect attendance for bus drivers each month. The bus driver advisory committee recommended that we look at the safety stipends for this year.
We maintain the custodian stipends, and this year, this past year is the first year we've had the buyback of unused sick days for our instructional employees, bus drivers, and cafeteria workers, and we're currently in the process of working with them. We're now getting into May, into the school year, to get that information and to allow them to buy those days. Page 3, throughout the schedule, we've added an additional step. So for the non-certifieds, they used to be stuck on step 0. We've now added step 1 with the intent that each year we'll add another step. Same thing, our teachers, our certifieds were at 30, and we're now adding step 31 with the intent that each year we'll add 32, 33, 34. For the rest of the page 4, the other staff, everyone else was at 23 years. We're now adding year 24 as you go through the schedule. On page 4, a very significant change in paraprofessionals, and we're now creating a class of certified paraprofessionals. There's an additional grade to that, so what used to be a grade 4 highly qualified is now a grade 5 certified professional, and I'm not getting in the weeds on all of those certifications, but it is in the salary schedule. Page 13 is the page with principals, and that is where it outlines exactly how the stipend for principals is calculated. Page 14, we've added that assistant principals may receive a coaching stipend for one sport in addition to their assistant principal salary. Ms. Stilley, do you want to talk about that?
Which one?
The assistant principals being able to coach, that came from the principals advisory.
Yes. Yeah, that's on page 13.
Page 14.
14. I'm sorry, I was looking back at this para thing. Yeah, that came from the principal advisory group, which asked us to consider, just because of the, having a rough time getting coaches in all the different various sports. They do have some assistant principals who have history of coaching and who would coach. So our principal advisory asked us if we would consider that if there is an assistant principal who wants to coach a sport, that they would be allowed to get a stipend as well.
That will require a policy change that we'll be coming with, because we also have to make sure that assistant principal does not have any type of oversight of the sport that they would be coaching or any of the other coaches. All right, page 15, Mr. Piazza asked if we would adjust the middle school stipends. We missed that last year, so basically you see much more. We added 1% to the ones that are 4 now, and it was adding 1% to the 2 that are 6 that are highlighted. We have been able to get, page 16, we were able to get robots to paint our fields, and so we're proposing a $1,000 per semester stipend for the person that is handling that. We have some of our smaller schools are sharing robots, and so that person has to go to different schools, and then some of our larger schools have much more striping to do, so we're including that.
If 2 schools are sharing one robot, I know they've been trying to get each school to have a handler, and they just send the robot over. Are we going to pay a stipend at each school?
So for instance, the handler at Sumner and Kentwood, because it's better to have one person handle that robot, not hand it off. So the stipend, he would get the stipend for those 2 schools, and he handles both of those schools. And the understanding is that the stipend is because they would be doing this outside of their normal class time. So we need to compensate them. Okay. Page 18, band directors. Mr. Piazza asked that we add, if a band director has multiple schools, which we have some doing that, then there's you see the stipend for additional schools. It would not be for each additional school. It would be if you handle more than one, there's an additional stipend for that. Page 19. These are stipends for different academics working in our schools outside of their classroom with clubs and different type. And Ms. Stilley, if you want to.
We also met with our teacher advisory, which we have a representative from every school in the parish. And this yellow part of this was much of this was based on their input on that. And so, for instance, every school has a website, one person who handles their Facebook post at the school or website changes. And so that individual would get $750. It's per semester. There's also individuals at a school that's PBIS administrators who handle all of that work at a school. That's a lot of extra activities, yearbook sponsors and things like that. And this was vetted through the teacher advisory and the principal advisory as well.
So the people on the top of the page are kind of a school-wide person. And then when you go to the bottom, these are sponsors of the club. So we have a local club would be a club that doesn't have a national affiliation. Say I start a Bible club at the school. That would be a local club. If you're Beta, there's a lot more paperwork that you have to file. So that's the difference for those. And based on each portion of 30 students, they get to add a person to that sponsorship. And then when they have to attend a day convention, they get up to $100. They get $100 for up to 2 days. And if it's an overnight, then it's $200. So this is a way to compensate them. We want to encourage people to take our kids to go to these type of events. Yes.
Real quick, and I know there's a lot of details on that, but the overall, what is the burden to the school board as far as financially? What is this expected to cost us for this increase?
So rather than discuss this as an increase, I'm going to say it's an alternative. Because if we don't do stipends, then it's the $30 an hour. So the stipends try to mirror what the hours and the $30 an hour would be, so that we don't have an open end for a Bible club person to say, I've got Bible club every Tuesday, and it's an hour, and there's a $30 an hour timesheet for every week. So.
Okay.
Trent?
Yep.
So are these gonna come out of our half-cent sales tax?
Yes. Yes. That's all of the $30 and these type stipends all comes out of the
Principal
EFIT.
stipend, all of the stipends?
Yes. Okay. Any other questions on those? It also gives a lot more uniformity. We were asked by academics to try to come up with something so that the beta sponsor at one school isn't paid something different than the beta sponsor at another school. Okay.
I just say
Yeah.
one thing about the
Before we go any further.
paraprofessionals. I'm really happy that we're gonna have some incentive for a paraprofessional who is actually doing all-day classroom, because we've been doing that, and we've been begging about that for years, and so they're gonna $50 a day.
In addition. In addition to their
yeah.
normal salary.
So that's really good too, for our
Okay.
paras.
If for time you need me to stop, we can. If y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to address them. I think we've handled all of the high points. The only other thing, page 32, in order to address the Veterans Day holiday, we now have changed. We had to reduce the work year by 1 day, and that's what we did. There was just no other way to do it. So the teachers in the past had 182, so it'd be 170 something instructional days, and the rest were PDs. We're keeping the instructional days, and we're reducing it by 1 PD.
Further, do we have a motion on this?
Motion to adopt.
All right, it's a motion to adopt by Mr. Westmoreland,
Second.
second by Mr. Toller. All right, do we have any other board member questions, concerns, comments? No, that's it? All right, do we have any public questions, comments, or concerns? All right, hearing no concerns, we can go ahead and call for vote. Ms. Cindy, please.
Appreciate it.
Meeting's open.
Appreciate the work. I know there's a lot of work that went into this,
This was fun.
as long as we can fund it.
Voting closed.
Shop it.
Motion passes unanimously.
Go.
She has a question.
Okay.
I didn't, hear the stipend for the football field, the robot.
$1,000 per school, per semester.
All right, is item, I guess we're missing C, so we're going to go to item D, which is consider authorization of a cooperative endeavor agreement with Tangipahoa Parish Sewer District for Ponchatoula High School's Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant Improvement Project. Mr. McNeely.
Very excited about this, in conjunction with the sewer district and also work by Senator Wheat with the water sector and Representative Kim Coates. We received a $7 million grant. We've talked about this before. This is actually the proper endeavor agreement between us and the sewer district on who's going to do what part and how we're going to share the local match. The local match is going to be $626,000 for the school system and $1.2 million for the sewer district.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we got a motion by Mr. Toller, a second by Mr. Westmoreland. Do we have any board member questions or
And this
comments?
motion will be subject to court approval.
Okay. All right, do we have any public comment, question, concern? All right, if not, can we please call for vote, Ms. Cindy? Oh, excuse me, sorry.
Let's see it pop up. Yes. Still hasn't popped up.
Voting is closed. Motion passes unanimously.
All right, with no other business on the Finance Committee meeting, this meeting is adjourned.